I got a yes on that. I don't believe it.
I know you don't believe it, and not only don't you believe it, but like not a scant hour ago you tested no on it. Something in you has really changed in this session.
I can feel a difference.
Yeah, can you
don't ask me to explain it. I just feel different.
Well, I'm going to have to ask you to explain it. Sorry. Actually, you know what? In a way, I think you already have explained it in a way, because you have shown us the difference in you by actually doing this session we just did.
Yeah.
So we can see this is different from what you've ever done before, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, buddy, well, we're still in Skill 1, and this is an application of Skill 1, and it's called End Trauma. And if I click on it, what I get is end trauma from this and other lives. And this is one of these applications of Skill 1. That the Skill 1 is remove, install, and know. And it enables you to know that you have trauma from other lives, and also to take that trauma out. Okay, you with me?
Yeah, yeah.
So you've actually been getting signals for many years, haven't you?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. But never worked on a past life before.
No.
This is your very first time, so I think
It is.
the newbies can learn a lot from this, because
Okay.
this is going to be your very first time of taking out a past life trauma. And you were telling me that the spiritualist church, many people in the spiritualist church believe in reincarnation, right?
That's right.
And you founded a spiritualist, but not all of them. No.
Oh no, just the one locally.
Yeah, but you founded the local spiritualist church. Not all the people in the spiritualist church believe in reincarnation.
Not everybody.
But maybe most of them. Is that the?
I would say most.
Okay. And do they remove past life trauma?
Sometimes there are some mediums who can do that.
Oh, so you do it through mediums. You don't actually do it yourselves.
No, that's right.
So basically, when did you found the local spiritualist church?
March 2005, I think it was.
So
or 2006.
So that
March 2006.
And you've been doing this IMMUNICS for 5 years, so you founded it about a year before you discovered IMMUNICS.
That's right.
And when you discovered IMMUNICS, you discovered that you could take out your own past life trauma, and you didn't need a medium, except you never did it. Yes?
That's right.
And consequently, you still got leukemia, and have been believing that your leukemia is at least partially caused by a past life trauma. You actually got to have a gut feeling about that, you were telling me.
That's right, yes.
Just for the record, hold your finger up in front of your face and test, is my leukemia partially caused by trauma from past lives? And see if you get anything on that.
Yeah, I don't actually get a finger test. All I get is the warmth in my hands.
So hold up your warm hands. Did your hands get warm when you asked that?
Yes.
Okay. So that's what your signal looks like. The interesting thing is that you can put your hands down, you're actually able to instantly notice when your hand is warming.
Oh yes, it is immediate.
Yeah, it's exactly...
It was very slow to start with, and the drop-off of heat for a no. Now it is very, very quick.
So in other words, this is it's like exactly like a finger flick, really.
That's right.
For you,
Yes.
it takes about the same amount of time it takes me to flick my finger, and also your no is like a dropping off of heat.
That's right.
So you do get a clear no signal as well, which is your hand gets cooler.
That's right, yes.
Yes, yes. And, you know, the funny thing is, I'll just say with my finger signal, this is kind of an interesting little thing about signals, a little aside about signals, that with my finger signal, when I get a no, instead of a finger flick, what I get is my finger simply feels more inert. I can't exactly explain clearly what that feels like, but it's like it just feels like it has less of a tendency to wiggle. I don't know. But I definitely do get a clear no signal that way.
Yeah, yeah. It's very, very strange to me because once the heat is there for a yes and I check something else and get a no, I can almost feel cool air around my fingers.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Okay. So now what we're going to do is, I'll just look at this skill on the camera a little bit. I could share my screen with you so you can see it too, if you want, you know. But this is one of, now you can see why this is one of the applications of skill 1, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Because
that's a nice scene.
Now here we go. I just put skill 1 up here. The lessons in skill 1 here are the lessons. First of all, it says to begin, what does trauma look like in life?
Yeah.
Uncleared trauma, convert to these things. Now this is let me just show you this page. Uncleared trauma, convert to these things. When you have trauma, and you don't take them out, what they usually turn into is addictions, catastrophic assumptions, defeats, defenses, denial, destructiveness, disabilities, disappointments, disconnections from God, disinformation. All of these things are things that uncleared trauma convert to.
Okay. Yeah.
So, do you notice things in the people in the spiritualist church like that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what I would say here is there's a lot more here in this application of skill 1. But what I'm going to do right now is try to cure your leukemia with you by just focusing on one simple thing. Okay? This is just going to be a single thing that we do, which is going to hopefully have a direct effect on curing your leukemia. And it is this. Test this question. I want you to ask how many trauma from past lives that you have, how many trauma from past lives do I have that directly affect my leukemia, my having leukemia? Is it over 100? And see if you get a test on over 100 trauma from past lives.
No on that one. Not over 100.
Okay, good. Now, by the way, just as an economy of scale, something that we ask people to do when they first start working on their past life trauma, I think you should do this. When I first started working on my past life trauma, what I did was I got the total number of my trauma, and for me it was over 90,000.
Oh, wow.
Now, it took me about 7 months to take out all my trauma, but later I realized that I didn't really have to take them out. wasn't necessary. I could just have, removed other things and the trauma come out with other things. Like if you find that you have misdirections and you take out a misdirection, you might take out, 5 trauma or 1,000 trauma for that matter.
Yes, several others with it all at the same time.
Yeah, you see, when I started doing my past life traumas, when I would take out a couple of trauma and I'd recheck, and I was down. I remember the first time I did it, I checked and I was down to 87,000 from 92,000.
That's a lot of trauma.
Well, what happens? See, trauma come out in clumps. One of our ancient colleagues who discovered that many years ago, Jamie Campbell, told me that. I can't totally remember who it was, but I think it was Jamie who told me that they come out in clumps. They come out in groups. So you don't need to be intimidated, but you do need to sort of know. So I want you to test, like, just test is the total number of trauma that are affecting me in this life from past lives over 100,000. And see what you get.
No.
Okay, test, is it over 50,000?
No.
Well, stopping to think about it, see, this makes sense to me because you've been doing IMMUNICS for about 5 years, right?
Yeah.
And what I just...
I've probably taken a lot out.
What I was
without me actually realizing it.
That's right. See, what I was just saying is that the trauma come out with other things, and you've removed tons of other things. So, presumably, the trauma have been coming out with those things. So your work has not been wasted, David.
Oh, good. I'm pleased about that.
Why don't we go all the way down to, like, do I have over 10,000 trauma affecting me?
No.
How about over 1,000?
No.
How about over 500?
No.
Okay, how about over 200?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I want, one thing I want to say is that you could try testing these things again in a week, because you might test that you have over, believe it or not, in a week from now, you might test you have over 100,000 trauma affecting you. But if you do, don't worry, because it really doesn't mean anything. It just means that, you're being told something. It's a message, okay? You never take anything you test literally.
Okay.
But a lot of the things you test are really important to pay attention to. You follow me?
Yes, indeed. Yes.
Like you can pay attention to something really carefully without taking it literally. Okay, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to give you a little perspective. And I'll tell you something else about this, you know, the way you just tested, you have over 200 trauma. After about 4 or 5 months or so of working on them, I got my trauma down and I got them under 200 trauma. And see, when I had been taking them out, they had been coming out like sometimes 1,000 or 500, and when I had really a lot of them, thousands came out every time I took one out. And that took months to drop them down to where they were. I didn't realize that I didn't have to do this at the time. See, I thought I really needed to do this. I mean, obviously, people do need to take out a trauma when it's really bothering them. Get it?
Yeah.
Like if you have a trauma that's affecting your leukemia, you really want to see if you can hit that trauma and take that out, because that would be an ancillary cause. Traumas cause people to keep getting herpes outbreaks, and they keep removing their herpes, and they test, and 20 minutes later it's back.
Yeah.
You know? And the reason is they have trauma. And I'll tell you something, when I talk to herpes sufferers, a lot of herpes sufferers are in enormous trauma. They're just, and they say that, like they call me up and they say, I feel awful, I'm so emotionally upset and I'm angry at myself for getting this and I feel hurt. They're saying they're in trauma. Do you know why I'm telling you this?
Do I know why?
Do you know
why?
You say? Yeah, do you know why I'm telling you this?
Because of it coming back?
Actually, it's because you were telling me you wanted to help people.
Yes. All right. Okay.
So you need to know this.
Okay. Can I just ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
When I told people I've got leukemia, or I was given this diagnosis of leukemia nearly 3 years ago, they say, well, you look so well. I keep telling everybody, I feel so well. I put it on the cure drive. I feel better than I have in 25 or 30 years. Is this possibly due to the fact that inadvertently I've actually cleared so much trauma without me knowing it?
Test that question. Do you get a signal?
I've got a yes on that.
Okay. Well, you know, trauma hurt people. The trauma means you're feeling emotionally upset, means you're hurt, you're susceptible to emotional disturbances, you're susceptible to everything. Your immune system's down. When trauma takes down your immune system.
It's not even a nice word.
Right, it's not a nice, that's right. It's not a nice word. That's right. Okay, so now we're going to go on. We're going to go on with this. So, test this question. Do I have more than one trauma that affect or make me susceptible to leukemia?
Now I could feel that was going to be a no.
So it's just one. Okay.
It sounds like one. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to show you the method for taking out a trauma. Okay. This is a method. You can apply this method over and over and over again, and basically what it does is it makes it easy for you to find it. The most important thing with taking anything or curing anything is you have to find the causes or the thing that you're trying to cure. You have to be able to locate it, to nail it down. Like, I didn't cure my herpes until I identified my herpes in my spiral body, my etheric body, the other bodies that I found it in all my bodies, or I think almost, maybe there was one I didn't find it in, when I first discovered it, and I took it out of each one by one, and I could feel my bodies. And so I could actually scan my gravitational body, and when I asked about the herpes, I could see in my gravitational body, I could see the codes, like they were like little specks of light in the body. And when I erased them, the body looked normal. And when they were there, the body was abnormal. It didn't look normal. Yeah, I could, you know, this is not this thing that you visualize. It's actually something, it's not a visual thing. Okay, the gravitational body is not a physical body, so it's not anything you can visualize. But you can definitely locate, that's another thing, like I can locate my bodies in space.
Yeah.
Like, look, do this, just locate a point above your head. Have you done it?
Right.
Well, you could do the same thing with one of your bodies. I mean, anything you can do, like in the space of your room, you can do in all space, like try this, like locate a point like that's 1,000,000 light years from you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and if you can do that, you can find your gravitational body, and then you can kind of see what, when I say the word see, it's not a seeing like with the eyes. But anyway, that's what happened. So to get back to the trauma, I'm going to show you how to identify, how to locate, how to nail down exactly what the trauma is you're trying to take out, so you don't take out another trauma and leave this one there. Get the idea?
Yeah.
Okay. So test this question. Okay, it's from a past life. Did the trauma happen more than 100,000 years ago?
No.
Did it happen more than 50,000 years ago?
No.
You know, there's something I want to just check. Test this question. About yourself, ask, did I exist more than 100,000 years ago?
Yes.
Okay. I was just testing whether you could test. I'm telling you, you know, some people can't test for this. You know, but you've been doing this for 5 years, so you could test for it, okay? If a person can't test for this, they should work another lesson for a week and then come back to it. That's what they should do. Anything that you can't get signals on right away, you should just do another lesson. And then when you come back, you'll be able to get signals on the lesson you're on. That's the way to do it. So now, back to, okay, did this trauma happen more than 500 years ago?
Yes.
Now test this question. Since this trauma happened, have I been carrying leukemia in my gravitational and or spiral body?
Yes.
Now, I want to just do a little aside here. You don't have a lot of experience with taking out trauma, so I'm doing some things that a newbie might not originally do the very first time they take out a trauma. But after you take a bunch of trauma out, see, if you didn't have me doing this with you, what you would probably have had to do was just cure, like, let's say, 50 trauma. And at some point, you would then start to suspect the kinds of things that I tend to suspect and would ask about. And you would ask about them without having to go through a whole lot of convoluted, inquiries. Get the idea?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
See, the more experience you get with this, the more you come to suspect that certain things are present and test for them. Like, for example, I just happen to know that people catch these diseases from each other. because your gravitational body is always reading the gravitational bodies of other people. And this is why herpes sufferers continue to keep getting their herpes back. Like they cure their herpes and they test it's gone from all their bodies. And 6 hours later, they find the herpes again, you know, in their spiral body. And they say, oh no, I didn't cure it. But actually they did cure it. But what happened was the gravitational body went and visited the gravitational body of the person that they originally caught it from, who they're still angry at. And see, if you're angry, you know, like you're a spiritual person, okay, right? So you know it's not good to remain angry or blame anybody, right?
That's right.
But you don't know, maybe you didn't know why before today, but the reason is that if you're angry at somebody, your gravitational body will keep visiting their gravitational body hourly. Your gravitational body is like a web bot. You know these spiders that go around and spider the web?
Yeah.
That's what your gravitational body is like. It just goes from person to person, gravitational body to gravitational body, and it reads their whole gravitational body in a tiny fraction of a second and then goes on to another one. And that your gravitational body will just keep reading this person's gravitational body and taking back the herpes or the leukemia or whatever. So now that we've said that, okay, so it was over 500 years ago. Was it over 1,000 years ago?
No.
Okay, I'll tell you what I've been able to do. Like, I can roll through a set of numbers. Like, I'm going to go 500. What do you get when you just go up, count up from 500 to 1,000, and where does your finger, or where do you start to get a warmth about, you know, try to get it within 10 years. I just roll through the numbers, you know, just see where it's warm, you know, like feel where it's warm. Now you may have to go through them more slowly than I do. Like, see, you might be going 5, 520, 550, 57. Or you see what I do is I go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You know, I go like that.
Yeah.
And my fingers.
I'm doing it in hundreds to start with.
Okay. You can start through them again if you don't get, because you know it's between 500 and 1,000, so you can start through them again if you don't get anything the first time you go through them. It would be a faint signal.
$1,300 and something.
It's about around 13. That's the date. You got a date, 13 something.
Yeah.
13. That's exactly
30.
1330.
Yeah.
Around 1330 AD, right?
Yep.
Okay. Is it on? Did it happen on Earth?
No.
Did it happen with anybody I know in this life?
Yes.
Okay. Somebody who's still alive.
Yes.
Okay. Roll through people you know and see who you get.
Whew, wow.
Start with your wife and son, and then roll out to other relatives, friends, and so on, bosses, whoever. Here, try this. What'd you get? Somebody?
I was just saying, I've just gone through like family, as in cousins, uncles, aunties, and I was uncles.
Did you get any? Was it one of my?
An uncle.
It's one of my uncles. Okay. And which one? Test. And give me your first name.
George.
Okay. In this life, is George my ally? Test this question. Is George my ally in this life?
Was. He's passed, by the way. He's
okay. Was he my ally in this life?
Yes.
Was he my ally in the other life?
No.
Was he my opponent?
Oh, that's a resounding. Oh.
You got a yes on that?
Yes.
Test this question. Have I removed this trauma yet?
No.
Okay, good. Now, a little while ago, one thing I'm confused about is, did you test a little while ago that the person that this trauma is with is still alive, or did you test that they were with you in this life?
No, with me in this life.
Okay. That was the question. Okay, because the way the question sounded, it sounded like that they were alive at this time. Okay, so George was your opponent, and this was not on Earth. And test, did one of us kill the other one in that life? Like, see, you sort of test for major actions is one way. All we're trying to do is identify the trauma. We're trying to tell this computer in the sky that we're working with, that's going to clear this trauma. We're trying to tell God which trauma we're trying to erase. And so we're trying to just nail down exactly what happened. Was it, and we'll know when we learn enough about this, we'll know, because we'll test that the trauma is clear. So the first question is, did one of us kill the other? Did you get a signal on that?
I've got a yes on that.
Okay, did I kill him?
Yes.
Okay, when I killed him, did I catch leukemia from him?
Oh, wow, yes.
Okay, this is a common thing that happens. See, again, I have experience with this. Really, all this information was paid for in blood, David. We paid, the blood of patriots paid for all of the stuff that you're being told. Many, many people tested many, many things for me to be able to just blithely come up with these questions to ask you, at this point. And you're another one of them who's paying it now in your blood with, your sacrifice and love, spending all this time talking with me on this call. But you see, this is a common occurrence when you have a very strong interaction with somebody, like when you fall in love with them, or when you murder them, or you slay them in battle, or some other major thing happens, or they're your business partner for 50 years, and you will catch things from them.
Yep.
Your gravitational body is going to grab things from their gravitational body, thinking it's what makes them a threat to you, and trying to get the thing. In other words, your gravitational body is trying to find their weapons and take them in and give them to you. And in the process of doing that, it finds their diseases. Get the idea?
Yes. Yeah, okay, yeah, I do.
I think herpes is a really good example to use with these things, because when somebody gets herpes from somebody else, their gravitational body sees that the herpes as a weapon. Like they used the herpes to harm me, so that was their weapon for harming me. Get the idea?
Yeah.
That's how the gravitational body computes this.
Right.
And then it goes and it tries to take the herpes and give it to you, so that now I have the weapon now. I can go hurt people with the weapon. Well, that disease is, down through the ages, has literally been used as a weapon, right?
Oh, yes.
And also that a microbiologist I was reading was talking about how howler monkeys, or rather howler monkeys wipe out competing species by actually breathing an airborne herpes virus on them that converts to leukemia and kills the other monkey within 6 months. This is not a virus that humans get, but it's a virus that's transmissible among monkeys. There are hundreds of herpes viruses that monkeys have that humans don't get.
That's an incredible development.
Yeah, I was reading it in one of the science magazines I read, or whatever. I can't remember, but it was a very interesting article about natural selection, and how animals, compete with each other. They use diseases as weapons. That's one of the ways they compete. And also, the howler monkey doesn't get leukemia from this herpes virus. It doesn't have any symptoms at all of it. It can just host the virus and live a normal life.
So it's actually immune to it.
It's immune to the virus, but spider monkeys aren't. It's immune to it, but hosts it. I had a friend, my girlfriend's roommate, years ago. It was back in the early 70s. My girlfriend's roommate was a carrier of herpes. It was a genital herpes. She carried it. Never did she have a symptom. Never in her life did she have a herpes outbreak. Never had a symptom. Every man she had sex with got herpes. And she went to she had a great medical plan. She was an underwriter with Dean Whittier, and she went to the doctor like every time somebody told her she had herpes. She went to the doctor again and went back, and they didn't have good tests for herpes in the early 70s also. But anyway, we'll go back to your trauma now. Have I removed that trauma?
No.
Okay. Is there something more I need to know?
No.
Is there something more I need to do to remove the trauma?
Yes.
Okay. Does it involve talking to someone?
Yes.
Okay, can you see what it is? This is a pure channeling job. Can you see what it is you need to say to someone? I have an idea. I want you to test a question. Does it involve telling someone that they can cure something? Letting someone know that they can cure something that they don't think they can cure.
Yes.
Now this is why assisting cures things. See, a lot of people, when I tell people that they need to be an assistant in order to cure stuff, they don't quite understand why it is. Now you understand, because just think about this for a minute. Do you think maybe if you continued assisting for a long time, or maybe even for a couple of days more, whatever, just in the course of your assisting, you probably would accidentally tell this person that they can cure this thing that they need to find out about, and you would then accidentally cure this trauma without even trying, just by assisting.
Yeah.
Do you get a test on that?
Yes.
See, that's the thing, is that when you're assisting, you're always curing things. It's just everything you do with assisting is like just either it tells you you have to cure it in order to be an effective assistant, or it just gets cured while you're assisting without you thinking about it. So, but can you see who the person is and what you need to say to them? Right now, does anybody come to your mind? You see anything? Because if not, we'll just complete. This is a good place to complete.
Ozzy.
Okay. And what do you need to say to him?
I need you to help me to clear this. Get rid of this leukemia. This trauma.
And is that something that he doesn't think he can cure?
Probably yes.
So in other words, he's the person that you need to talk to, and tell him that he can cure something that he doesn't think he can cure.
Yeah.
Here's another question I want you to test. Have I known Ozzy before this life?
Yes.
You know something? I got a test on that too.
Good.
You know, another...
We're on the same wavelength.
Or just we both knew Ozzy before this life. But anyway, another thing we should ask is Ozzy another self of George? Is Ozzy one of George's other alternate selves?
I'm getting a yes on that.
You know, there you go. You see, it's actually that this person who you originally caught this disease from is still around, they're still in your space, and they appear in more than one form. And that's the way reality works. And see, as we do this testing, we come into things that people never in a million years would have guessed.
Yeah.
Never in a million years would they have guessed this.
Amazing process of elimination.
And you know what else? I think that the people in your spiritualist church really need to see this movie that you made today.
Okay.
Because can you see that they've been groping in the dark with their mediums all this time? Is that obvious to you?
Yeah. Yeah.
All of those people can, you know, well, test this question. Ask this question. Can I, meaning you, ask if you're now able to channel Mahatma Gandhi?
I got a yes on that. I don't believe it.
I know you don't believe it, and not only don't you believe it, but like not a scant hour ago you tested no on it. Something in you has really changed in this session.
I can feel a difference.
Yeah, can you
don't ask me to explain it. I just feel different.
Well, I'm going to have to ask you to explain it. Sorry. Actually, you know what? In a way, I think you already have explained it in a way, because you have shown us the difference in you by actually doing this session we just did.
Yeah.
So we can see this is different from what you've ever done before, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's the difference right there. Is there anything more you want to say about it?
I don't think there's anything I can add to any of this.
Well, all right. Okay, well, in that case, I'll just I'll give you a buzz tomorrow, oh founder of the Spiritualist Church, and tell me again the name of the town you live in, because I want to be able to pronounce it.
If you look at the first Y as an O, it's Towin.
Towin.
Yeah, Towin.
And what's the second name of it?
What the county is Gwynedd.
Okay, so it's Towin and Gwynedd, right?
That's right. The double D is pronounced as TH. Gwynedd.
Okay, so that's probably where Gwyneth Paltrow's from.
Yeah, well, it's also a name, a female's name as well.
Right. Well, okay. So Mr. Founder of the Spiritualist Church in Towin, I will call you, give you another buzz tomorrow. I'll see you then.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
All right, buddy. Bye. Area code 813-672-3419.